Hello reception! Today we are going to start learning about how to make a sculpture. To begin, we're going to take a look at some pictures of sculptures that have been made from around the world. Tell your adult, what do you like about the sculpture? Artists can use lots of different skills when designing their sculpture. For example, they might carve their sculpture, that's like cutting. They might mould their sculpture, which is when they put it into something to make a shape. They might chisel their sculpture, which is when they use a tool and knock away at the material. Or they might model, which is when they use their hands to make shapes. Artists might use lots of different materials when they make sculptures. For example, they might chisel at stone or wood, they might mould metal when they melt it, or they might model with clay. I don't have any clay at home, but I thought I could practice these skills using Play-Doh. So I'm going to teach you now how you can make Play-Doh at home so you can practice these skills too. This is my Play-Doh recipe. A recipe is a list of instructions that tells us what ingredients we need and how much we need to measure. For this recipe, we are going to need water, flour, salt, oil, vinegar, and some food colouring. To make the Play-Doh, you'll also need a cup, a spoon, a bowl for mixing, and a wooden spoon. The first step in my recipe is to get some flour. This tells me that I need 1 whole cup of flour. And, this cup isn't all the way full. It's only half full. So if I put that together, I'm going to need 1½ cups of flour. This is 1 cup of flour. Can you see how I filled it all the way to the top? Now I'm going to put that into my mixing bowl. Next, I need to make my ½ cup of flour. This time I only filled my cup halfway with flour. Let's add that to the bowl too. Next, I need 1/4 cup of salt. Quarter. 1/4 is smaller than 1/2. Here is half of my cup, but I've only filled it 1/4. Let's add that to our mix as well. The next step in my recipe is to make a cup 3/4 full of water. 3/4 is more than 1/2. Now I'm going to pour it 3/4 full. Remember not to push it all the way to the top, but a little bit more than halfway. Then I'm going to add that to our mix as well. Let's take a look at what we need next. Now we need a spoon. Here's my spoon, and I need to make 1 spoon of vegetable oil. When I pour a spoon of vegetable oil, I'm going to hold my spoon over the bowl. That way, if I spill a little bit, it will catch inside the bowl. Let's carefully pour on until the spoon is full. Then I'm going to add it to the mixture. Next, I'm going to need to pour in some vinegar. Can you help me count how many spoons I need? Ready? Off we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 spoons of vinegar. Just like before, I'm going to hold my spoon over the bowl. Let's count the 3 spoons out together. 1, 2, and 3. The last ingredient on our recipe is a splash of food colouring. I chose green food colouring, but you can use whatever colour you have at home. You might not have food colouring, and that's okay too. Be very careful when you add your food colouring, as it might stain a little. We're going to put just 1 splash into the mixture. Ready? Now that we've got all our Play-Doh ingredients in the bowl, we can use the wooden spoon to mix it all together. Once your Play-Doh has come together, you can take it out of the bowl and put it on top of a board. Then you can use your hands to squish it together even better. If it's a bit sticky, you can add some more flour to help it from sticking to the table. Then you can roll it around to make sure that it all joins together. We call this kneading. Here is my green Play-Doh. I can't wait to start practicing my sculpting skills with it, but first I better tidy up. That's much better. The first sculpting skill I'm going to try with my Play-Doh is carving. So for this you're going to need a knife. Make sure it's not too sharp and be careful when you're using it. First I'm going to see if I can cut my Play-Doh in half. I'm going to put half a Play-Doh aside for now. And as a challenge I'm going to see if I can cut this Play-Doh into a number. You could get somebody at home to call out a number and see if you can make that number using your Play-Doh. For example, I'm going to see if I can make my Play-Doh into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, I'm going to try cutting my Play-Doh using the scissors. This time I'm going to cut the other half of Play-Doh. Let's see if I can cut through it. Remember to put your thumb in the top loop and your fingers in the bottom. That way you'll be able to use the cutting action. You could also use the scissors to make spikes in your Play-Doh by cutting at the top. Now I'm going to use my hands to see if I can put all the pieces of Play-Doh back together again. Remember, you can try that kneading motion too. You can also use your hands to make different shapes. Let's practice rolling out the Play-Doh like a sausage using our hand. Can you see the Play-Dohs getting longer? Now that I've made a long sausage, I'm going to see if I can swirl the Play-Doh. Now I'm going to roll the Play-Doh out again and challenge myself to make some of my Fred sounds. Let's see if I can use my hands to make the Play-Doh curl around the caterpillar. Curl around the caterpillar. I really enjoyed carving, cutting and modelling with my Play-Doh, but now I'm finished for today. I'm going to put the Play-Doh away in a lunchbox so that I can try again tomorrow. I'm going to put the Play-Doh in my green lunchbox. Remember to put your lid on nice and tight. If you don't have a lunchbox at home, you can use cling film or tin foil to wrap it up tight. And if it feels a little bit dry when you want to play with it tomorrow, rub some of the oil on it to help it stretch again. I hope you enjoyed practicing sculpting skills at home. Remember to upload a picture or video on Exat or through the email so that the teachers can see your amazing skills too. Enjoy!